There you were, having a perfectly normal Saturday, watching your favorite Minecraft series on YouTube, excited to hop back in the game and keep crafting, when suddenly, the algorithm blesses you. Gregtech New Horizons, Minecraft's biggest, baddest, most complicated mod pack hits your feed. You click. It's already drawn you in, and there's no way to stop it. This looks amazing, you think to yourself. The builds get bigger. The machines get cooler. I could do that, you say out loud. So you download the pack, crank it up, and get completely over the top hype looking at all the sick bases on the loading screen. You create a world, spawn in, and have no idea where to begin. The Questbook is gigantic. It overwhelms you immediately. I'll just grab some tools and think of it. But you can't. The recipes you know and love don't work. Maybe the Questbook explains what to do. Of course it does. This is the greatest mod pack ever devised. But by the time you realize where the quests are and how to unlock them, the sun is setting. You panic. You didn't make it to the bed. The darkness is oppressive. The mobs close in. They're glowing. They're throwing fire. They're everywhere. You realize you aren't regaining health. The apples you randomly collected have stopped giving you hunger back. Suddenly, your movement slows to a crawl, like you're trapped in a web. You're on fire. It's over. You don't even know what killed you. We've all been there. The first time ever logging into Gregtech New Horizons can be brutal, if you don't know what to do. But that's why you're here. If you're new or you haven't, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out. And welcome to the Beginner's Guide to Gregtech New Horizons. I'm Geronimo, and by the time we're done, you'll have gone from Gregtech Noob to completely ready to take on the best mod pack in the world and all it has to offer. So, what are we waiting for? This is episode 1, and so it begins. Tip number 1. If you have any tips of your own, leave them in the comments. And if you need more help after watching this, stop by the Aesthetics Hub Discord. The legends there and myself will be happy to try and help. But such as it is, there's no time to waste on day 1. Your options are get a bed, or hide in a hole and do creeper cleanup all morning. So to make sure you don't spend those precious first minutes wondering what you're looking at when you open your inventory, let's start with the GUI. As usual, hit E to open the inventory. And there's some bonus views. You should recognize the default view, simple vanilla. There's also baubles, for general purpose wearables. Usually the items tell you if they go here. Equipment, for Thaumcraft and Tinker's Construct wearables mostly. Don't worry too much about the mods if you don't know them. All in good time. Armor speaks for itself. Battle gear, super useful extra inventory space for weapons and some utility items. Default keybind is G to switch to dual hand mode. Super handy. Inventory space is precious. You'll see. The spacesuit, first major goal of the pack, a long time from now. And lastly, a set of icons here for server utilities, and if you don't have it installed, do. The top left icon is for claim chunks and chunk loading. If it's not turned on, turn it on in the mod config. Right click to claim, and shift right click to chunk load. Very nice. To the right of that is teams. If you have one, create one. Invite members, very intuitive. Trash can. Get used to clicking this. Free and easy way to get rid of junk. The gears are settings, none of which are worth changing. And lastly, leaderboards. Fun if you're solo, fun if you're in a group, fun in general. Check them out. Why not? One last thing on utilities. The home command. Use sethome home to set a home location you can teleport back to immediately using /home home. Some folks prefer not to use this for purity's sake, and others would rather save time traveling. No one cares either way. Next, to the left and right of your player inventory are the NEI panels. The right side panel is a full and comprehensive list of every block and craftable item in the pack. And the left side, a bookmarks view. The black box at the bottom is a search bar. Type in the name of an item, click it, and the recipe appears. Holding Alt while clicking expands and collapses item groups. If you have a crafting table open when you view a recipe, holding Shift and clicking the plus icon will put all the items in the correct location in the crafting grid. Assuming you have them in your inventory or the crafting table can access them from another inventory. You will use this a lot. Get familiar. After you look at a recipe, the item you view will go into your history on the bottom of the right-hand panel. This is to prevent having to repeatedly search for the same items to view the recipes. Another way to do that is to press the A key with your mouse hovering over the item. This adds the item to the bookmarks on the left side panel. You can add as many items as you want, and they'll stay until you remove them, by hovering over the item and pressing the A key. Clicking the page counter will reorient the NEI view to a stacked view, and if you open a recipe, hold Ctrl-Shift and press A, the item and the items required to make it will be bookmarked. Hover over an item and press U to see what other recipes require that item. Extremely handy stuff, and there are many more NEI capabilities to make use of to stay organized, but you can complete the pack with only these. With your inventory closed, on the top right is the mini-map. Hotkey J to open the full map. The main things to know are the flag button for waypoints, definitely use them, and the ore button to turn on the ore map. We'll get to that soon, just remember it exists. The rest come later, and we'll get to them later, and there are some options you can explore on your own. Defaults are safe though. Top left of the screen is the in-game info, or IGI. It has some basic game information to replace a lot of stuff in the F3 menu. The main thing of note is this humidity value. Be sure you know where to find this. If you're having trouble seeing it, use the command IGI config, go to general, and increase the scale. And finally, the Questbook, and that overwhelmed feeling you just can't shake. Here's the thing. GTNH is a massive, complicated mod pack that has been designed over the course of 10 years to be Minecraft's ultimate test of will. You probably won't complete it. But finishing isn't the point. Challenging yourself is. And the payoff is just as massive as the mod pack. So let it go, alright? Set a modest goal, like reaching the end of this guide, and dive in. Like this. We'll touch on all the tips and tricks as we go, but here's a quick one that isn't in the book. Start a creative world or a peaceful world and read the quest book. When you need some safety to look around at new quests and new options, hop over there. If you spend your first day reading these, you're gonna have a bad time. But everything in this book is worth reading, especially if you're new, so go read in peace. Now, a few rules of thumb for the quest book itself, besides using the tilde key to open it. Number 1, you don't have to prioritize doing the quests or do them in order. In fact, you don't have to do them at all. Now that you know how to use NEI, you could search for the bed, note everything you need, acquire it all, make the bed, and start questing from there. You could even risk it and start the game by going on a hunt for a brick dungeon, which always have beds in the top floor. My point isn't not to quest. Definitely quest. You have no idea what you're doing, and that's how you get a clue. The point is that tunnel visioning on quests can leave you exposed. Learn the lesson now while it's pain-free. If you know what you need, sometimes it's best to go straight at it. Number 2. Peek ahead, don't look ahead. Building off of number 1, you don't want to look so far ahead in the quest book, or even inside a single tier, that you get over-focused on the future and screw up the present. I know what you're thinking. Even if I wanted to look ahead, there's nothing to see. All I can do is collect dirt for this first quest and see what's next. True, until you click this view mode button. This gives you the ability to see all the quests in a chapter. New chapters are going to open up as you complete quests, and every single one is worthy of review. But be careful with this power. Resist the tunnel vision. And in particular, look out for these. Fishing, farming, and cooking, getting around, without dying, multi-block goals, mass processing, and how to generate power. More on those soon enough. For now, write that down. Number 3, mine the quest requirements and the quest rewards. Quests in GTNH come in 4 basic flavors. Retrieval quests, crafting quests, consume quests, and multi-step quests. There's some others too, but you can't mess those up. The first one is simple. Just possess the item. The second one is simpler. Craft the item. The third is simplest, but sometimes hurts. Submit the item. The rub is the fourth type. Sometimes the other 3 are combined and need to be done in the right order. Pay close attention. You'll also want to keep rule 2 in mind. Getting caught with the last item in a processing line only to realize the quest chain requires you to submit all the components you just used on the craft stinks. You've been warned. Peek ahead, don't look ahead. And number 4, be dubious of loot bags. Look, loot bags are great. We love loot bags. If you get them, redeem them, especially early. The food from Stone Age loot bags can save your bacon. That said, if you have the option to choose something else, consider it. I'm not saying do it, but a guaranteed day supply of food can be better than 6 empty bowls, 12 sticks, and a wooden pressure plate. Choose wisely. So, you know what to expect. Time to spawn in, this time with fewer questions. There are still a few though, so first things first. Do you stay or do you go? Well, does your spawn biome have wood, animals, and 80% humidity or higher? If so, feel free to stay. If it has no wood or animals, you can't stay even for a moment. Run for the hills, literally, so you can see something better. If all it's missing is 80% humidity, consider sitting tight, making the bed, and then leaving to find that sweet, sweat-dripping, leg-chafing Florida humidity. Either way, go straight to the quest book, complete the first 2 quests, and claim the free torch. It's the only one you're going to have for a while. You'll also want some tools. So find some gravel and grab as close to a stack as you can manage. 3 gravel per flint in the crafting grid. Put the flint where you put the wood planks for vanilla tools, and voila! Prioritize the axe and the shovel. And don't worry about the quests. You aren't wasting diamonds, it's flint. Relax. Make the wooden soft mallet and the flint knife too. You will want to settle your early game base in at least 80% humidity to preserve your sanity later. And you'll probably want to find that location before putting a chest down. If you doubt you can, stay put, snag some food, get 6 wool, some gravel and some wood, and the soft mallet. Make the bed, then quest up where you can, and head out in the morning. You know how to use NEI now, and you've heard the rules. Don't get tunnel vision. If your starting biome has all the above, proceed. And in this case, there is time to quest your way to the bed, but you still might want to rush it. Any extended journey will require the bed, and allow me to be blunt, you will not survive the mobs. No amount of PvP skill will save you. For a long time yet, the mobs will pose a great threat. Avoid them like Al Capone avoids taxes. You're also going to have very limited inventory space, and you might not be able to afford the food for the return journey until all the items are irrelevant if you leave things behind. Or better things to spend your hunger going to get. No, that is not a joke. Morning of day 2 in GTNH. Time for breakfast. Wait. That didn't do much, did it? Pam's Harvest Craft is a mod that adds a ton of food variety to the game. In a less nefarious environment, it's a charming little addition. In GTNH, it's what makes you realize mobs aren't your biggest threat. Starvation is. You see, mobs only spawn in the dark, so you can control them with torches and sleep. But when you're hungry, all you can do is eat. And even though there are 80 varieties of peanut butter and jelly, you might as well need an ancient Japanese katana to cut the bread and a full-on Hobart machine to mix the dough. Then there's the Spice of Life, another cute food-related mod. This time, to make it so you need a balanced diet. And by that I mean the food has diminishing hunger saturation returns, so gorging on apples isn't an option. And the saturation returns on single ingredient foods are so bad you'd have to eat all day to break even for the exertion of breathing. So what's the answer? Ask and you shall receive. First, tips. Quest food and loot bag food. Redeem it, hoard it, eat it. Don't jump or sprint unless you have to. Put down slabs and stairs. It gets better soon. Don't waste time fishing. Seems like a decent idea. It's not. Kill squid instead. They respawn immediately. Herd animals and breed them, especially cows. You can't use the wheat for anything else anyway. You can make a clay bucket before the quest book lets you know. Remember, there's no infinite water in GTNH. The quest book also tells you about seeds, which you get from hoeing grass that isn't near water, from villages, and from Pam's Harvest Craft gardens like these. NEI will tell you which food comes from which gardens, but to save time, here's a reference visual you can screen grab. If you poked around the newly unlocked quest chapters, which you should have, you might have noticed the Healing Axe quest. Don't tunnel vision, but keep an eye on this. You need 8 of every garden. Right-click to pick them up. But you'll have plenty of time to find them later, and starvation is a more pressing issue. Break them for food and seeds, prioritizing ground gardens for potatoes, carrots, and onions, leafy gardens for lettuce and bonus vegetables, stalk gardens for soybeans and bell peppers, water gardens for rice and seaweed, and berry gardens for berries, or grab some Natura bushes. There are other base ingredients you need for the Healing Axe meals, so save at least 1 seed for everything. To be clear, don't go for the axe now. It's a huge mission that can take hours, but it doesn't hurt to prepare, and you'll never have to eat again once you have it. If you're going to move your base, think about that too, but when you're ready to settle down, shoot for 4 9x9 farms to get started. 1 for cotton, 1 for soybeans, 1 split between berries, lettuce, rice, and seaweed, and 1 split between carrots, potatoes, peppers, and onions. With these things and a flint knife, you could weather the apocalypse. You see, soybeans turn into 2 types of tofu, which can substitute for most meat. Which means you can add lettuce and a knife to get pork wraps, swap the tofu for cooked squid and get fish wraps, Chop an onion, a pepper, and some tofu and put them on a stick for a lamb kebab. Roll rice and tofu in a leaf and eat sushi for dinner. Mallet tofu into mayo and make potato salad. Chop lettuce and carrots, or onion and pepper, for a spring salad. Get 2 berries into a fruit salad. Add a strawberry or grape to said salad for 2 improved salads. Or mix berries in a bowl for berry medley. That's good eating. Put the time into a farm now. Embrace the Stardew life. All the struggle comes with a reward. Extra hearts for eating different food. Foods know if you've had it before, so eat everything. Now you're set up for success. Or at the very least, survival. Assuming you remember to block off the entrance to your cave. You're no longer starving, you got the bed, you got tools, and you got torches. Maybe. If not, get some. You'll need rubber soon anyway. If you aren't exactly thriving yet, put some time in. Once you're set with food, pack a few things, and hit the road. There's no rush to get into the Stone Age, and you're going to need to know where stuff is in your world. And just about every possible piece of loot is valuable at this point in the game. Finding a single steel ingot can change your life. Here's what you're looking for. Dungeons, the brick ones. Witchery circles. Thom monuments. Villages. And aluminum gravel. And these biomes for the future. Lavender Field, any biome made of hardened clay, and a Mystic Grove in Magical Forest. You'll see why. You'll probably end up with lots of stuff, and also having to make some tough calls about what to keep and bring back. Here's a priority list. Keep these if you don't have them already. Cotton seeds, torches, rubber saplings, priority seeds, and extra armor. Don't toss these things for anything else. Iron, steel, and stainless steel, diamonds, bread, and meals. And these things you shouldn't toss unless for one of the other items. Gravel, sand, and clay, leather, bones, and gardens. Everything else can wait, or you can go back for it after using better items for quality of life improvement. Now, there's just one last thing before I bless your advancement to the Stone Age. Make darn sure you are happy with your base location. Moving after this, but before you advance quite a bit, will be painful and slow. Doing it now will be much less painful. Be selective. Find the perfect spot. You'll be there a while. You're in it for the long haul now. See you there for the Stone Age. And hey, stay positive out there.